going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we are not in my workshop. We're at my property where my future house is being built, or actually I'm building it. So that's what I wanted to talk to y'all today about, was building your own house. Can you be your own builder? Should you be your own builder? What does it take to actually do that? So this project behind me has been going on for quite some time now. It took a lot of planning to get here, a lot of headaches, a lot of late nights, early mornings, unbelievable amount of phone calls and emails. It's a daunting task if you've never done a project of this size. Be prepared. So build versus build. When I say build your own house, I don't mean swing your own hammer. If you can go out there and do that on your own, then great power to you. Most people can't do that. Versus having one built for you, having a custom home builder go out and actually build your house. The biggest difference between the two of those is who's running that project. When you have a house built for yourself, you're talking to a home builder. That guy's taking that project, taking your designs, and he's going out and getting all of his contractors together, getting them scheduled, and getting dirt turned and getting your house built for you. When you're building your own house, being an owner builder, you're doing all of that scheduling. You don't necessarily have to know how to build a house. You don't have to know anything about framing or laying concrete or putting down tile on your floors or even painting your walls. You don't have to know any of this. You just have to know how to manage a project and stay on task and keep these contractors scheduled right. So plain and simple, the difference between having a house built and building one is that if you're building it yourself, you're the project manager versus you're paying somebody to be a project manager. Apart from that, the two processes are almost identical. You're just having to do all the legwork yourself. That's the physical difference to it. But there is also a cost difference. The cost difference is severe and is what drove me to actually choosing to be an owner builder. For a house in this area, a custom house out in this area, you're looking at $135 to $150 a square foot. Now that's a square foot covered, not living. So what I mean by covered is gutter to gutter. So this house behind me that we're building is 3,200 and some change living square space. Don't get me wrong, that is a big house. But our slab size under roof is 5,200 square feet. The reason for that is because this is a ranch style house, and the front of the house is about 100 feet wide. There's an 8-foot porch that runs from one end to the other. There's also kind of a large foyer in the front section of the porch, and then there's also a large back porch. So those two areas combined with the total square footage, living square footage in the house, kicked it up over 5,000 square feet. So you take 135, multiply that against 5,200 square feet. My prices out here to have this built were low $7,000 to high $700,000. The estimated value on this house is high 5, low 6s. So it didn't make sense to us to spend that much money and be upside down on this house coming out on the other side. Now, if you build it yourself, you're going to save a boatload of money here because you're not paying that guy to be the project manager anymore. So your price per square foot to build drops dramatically. A little bit of digging that I did online, I was able to find that most homeowners around southern Texas were able to do their own house for right around $100 a square foot. So that's, $35 to $55 a square foot difference. And that really adds up, especially if you're doing a big house. Our house here, after our final budget and everything, we're right around $72 a square foot to have built. That is really low. Our total budget that we took to the bank is $380,000. So we saved low side $250, high side $350 on building this house. So the decision to build it ourselves was a no-brainer. So apart from the cost differences, the other next question you need to ask yourself is, can you manage this project? And that's an important question, and you need to seriously think about this. The amount of time you're going to spend on this project is daunting. We closed on this property in February, and we've been working on getting bids together and planning since then. Thanksgiving was last week. So there's 8 months of our lives in just planning. We hadn't even turned a shovel load of dirt yet. And I spent virtually every day going over emails, making phone calls, trying to find bidders, get together plans, shopping for flooring. It's a lot that goes into this thing. If you're having a house built for you, you're going to be doing some of this stuff too, but a lot of the nitty-gritty stuff is going to fall on your project manager, whereas you're only going to have to be worrying about your finishes. and the design of your house. But you don't have to worry about every little thing that we've had to worry about. So when you're building a house, not only is it just a huge amount of planning, but you're going to have to keep track of all of this as you go forward. Not to scare you off, but it is a challenge. So it's something to think about. Can you handle that kind of workload? Are you detail oriented? Can you manage this kind of project? So, yeah, you're going to save a boatload of money, but the headache it's going to give you, is that there's enough aspirin in your medicine cabinet to cover that. So just think about that. Next question you got to ask is, what do you want to build? Where do you want to build? And those two things go hand in hand. If you change one, you're changing the other. The reason I say that is most people, unless you're living way, way, way away from a city and you're owning a couple hundred acres, you're more than likely going to have to deal with some kind of HOA. The design of your house has to fit with that area that you're building in. So when you're looking at buying land, especially if it's in a developed subdivision, look at the houses out there. Are they all the same? If they are all the same, then you are not likely going to be building a custom home. You're probably going to have to stick with a design that they've already chosen and approved for that subdivision. So something to think about before you buy your land. The house design you have in your head, can you build it there? That's a pretty critical thing, because once you have a house design in mind, you have to go forward with getting contract bids together and getting with designers and drafters and engineers to get a bid together, to get all your bids together and get a final budget of what it's going to cost to actually build that house. So if you pick a house that is some crazy design, it may end up costing you too much. Or worst case scenario, you actually like the design, the budget looks good, but then when you go to the HOA with your plans to build, they deny your plans, and you have to do everything over again. You can burn a lot of money doing that. Most bids are free, however, your engineering plans are not. Your home design plans are not free. You're going to spend ballpark $10,000 on just engineering plans and your architectural plans. So make certain the home design you got is going to work where you're at before you pull that trigger. If that all looks good, then great. Check that off the box and move on to the next item. So you've got your design, you've got your property, you want to build, you think you can handle it on your own. What do you do now? Well, you can't just go out to get a shovel, start turning dirt on your own, and build your own house. You could, but there's two obstacles in your way. First off is, how do you actually fund that project? Unless you have some severely deep pockets, you are going to need a loan. Specifically, you're going to need a construction loan. And a bank isn't going to give you a construction loan without you being a home builder. And I don't mean an owner builder, I mean a legit home builder. So how do you build your own house and not be an actual builder? You got to find a company that'll help you out. And there's two companies out there that I know of, at least in this area. The first is You Build It. You've probably seen their commercials on TV. The second is Help You Build. Both companies provide basically the exact same service. And what that service is they're basically a contractor of license. They are responsible for ensuring the bank that you can actually build this house, or that the houses actually can be built and will be built in a timely manner and on budget. They bear some of the responsibility and the risk, and they're kind of your backer in this whole thing. They also provide a lot of assistance in finding your contractors, getting a budget together, planning out your build, keeping things on schedule, and they provide a lot of other resources from start to finish of this house that you're going to need. And a lot of these things are kind of hard to find on your own. And some things you don't even know you need. There was a ton of little things that I had no idea that I needed to do before I started building a house. So not only is it very beneficial to you to have one of these two companies on your side, but in most cases it's going to be a requirement when you go to the bank. You can't just do it on your own. In my case, we went with Help You Build. Help You Build has a flat fee of right around $10,000 versus You Build It has a square footage based fee. So if you're doing a massive house, one might be more expensive than the other. So once you've decided to build your own house and you've talked to some kind of paper contractor or builder of license that you're comfortable with, now it's time to start putting your budget together. The only way to get your budget put together is to go out and start making phone calls and getting bids for all of your different trades and start getting material lists together for everything. And I do mean everything. You got to get very meticulous with every little detail of every room, because all this stuff needs to be accounted for. Right down to what color are you painting the walls, how much paint's it going to take, etc., etc. You need to be very, very detail oriented in how you're getting your bids together and how you're keeping track of all of these things, whether that's filing cabinet or a folder system set up in your computer, whatever you want to do. Make sure it's organized and neat, because you're going to need to pull all those numbers and put together a final number and itemize every little thing when you go to the bank to secure your loan. If you're missing something on there, the bank is going to kick it back to you and tell you, nope, go back and do it again, or get us this information. A couple things that we didn't anticipate was the cost of the engineering plans themselves. I mean, that's $10,000 right there. Other things were your electrical service, your water service, your septic system. What kind of septic system do you need? The permitting for all of that. There's a lot of nickel and dime things that really add up at the end of this thing. So if you leave off a bunch of those little bitty details, at the end of it, you're going to be $15,000 to $20,000 different. And that's enough to really affect your budget. So assuming your budget looks good, the bank passes off on it. And if you have an HOA, the HOA says, yeah, your house plan looks good, then it's time to actually start turning dirt. So that's it. I hope that this video answers some questions for you, or gives you a little bit of insight about what it's going to take to build your own house. There's a lot that goes into this. Don't get me wrong. It is a headache. It is a big, big headache. Your life is going to revolve around building this house, from the time you close on the property to the time you put the last finishing touch on this house. Every day off, even while you're at work, you're going to be answering emails, picking up, making phone calls, taking phone calls. You're going to be very, very busy. I mean, you're going to have to take a vacation on your days off. But don't let that dissuade you from taking this project on. Yes, it's a lot of work, but it's extremely rewarding. Not only can you say you built your own house, but you're also going to come out on the other end of this thing with a lot of equity built into this house. We're probably going to clear north of $250,000 in equity when this is all said and done with. That is a lot of equity for a brand spanking new house without having to put any kind of down payment on it. And we've still got money in the bank from our last house that sold to put down on this thing. So, but we don't have to. We can keep all that money in our savings account and use it for future projects inside this house, which there are going to be a lot of future projects inside this house once it's done. I'm going to have YouTube content for years out of this place. So get ready to see a lot of house projects. Anyway, so if you got any questions or concerns or comments, gripes, complaints, just drop me a comment down below, and hopefully I can answer it for you. I can't answer everything because I don't know everything, but I'm still learning quite a bit as we go along here. So stay tuned. There's plenty more videos coming. Foundation work is steadily going along behind me here. They're bringing in fill work. They're bringing in fill material now. The forms are about 75% complete. Still got a long ways to go with that though. Plumbers are coming out next week to lay all the drain lines, and then we can really get going on this thing. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.